What is up, folks, and welcome back to the Vegas Confessions podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and in today's episode, we're going to be covering ZorkFest. Everything you need to know about it, the sessions, the plans, the events, the people, you name it. Plus, I'm bringing in Michael Trager, the host of the event, who's coming on to tell us everything we need to know about it, how it all got started and why, and some of the beneficial things you're going to learn by going to this event. Now that that's out of the way, cue that intro.
Hey there, everyone. This is Nat Bridger, and you are listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
Didn't we go to my favorite dive bar before that? We went to Double Down.
Double Down Saloon. Yeah, we had some ash juice.
I am all about ash juice. Yeah, baby.
You guys need to go check that room. There's like a dead guy in the bed. And the lady at the counter says, "Well, we'll call housekeeping." Like, housekeeping?
Jay's never met an asshole he didn't like. Shout out to the guy at third base at the blackjack table I was at last, who was obviously trying to keep a high-low count, but was mouthing the numbers as the cards were being turned over.
Be careful what you say, because we can have you whacked.
Okay, I'm Nicky Furmich, and you're listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
What is up, folks, and welcome back to the Vegas Confessions podcast. Man, is this an exciting one, because in a couple weeks we will be in Las Vegas, and this is for a special event. I've had the privilege of attending both prior events, and the third one is happening in Las Vegas. Guys, I bring you guys a special friend onto the show. Longtime friend, supporter of the podcast, Michael Trager of the Travel Zork blog and ZorkCast podcast. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad we're finally able to do this.
Oh, dude, we're 2 weeks away from having very little sleep and a lot of fun.
That is really true, because I've tried to explain to some people that, we're doing most of ZorkFest. The actual conference and presentations are on Saturday, and that starts at 8:45 in the morning. But then we start our group gambling at 11 o'clock at night. So really, for me, ZorkFest is waking up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning and going until 8 o'clock on Sunday morning.
That's it. So I did.
A lot of people are shocked when I say that, but I have no fear, Julian, that you will be there for our all night group craps play. And one of the things I was joking about is that we should contact the Guinness Book of World Records and find out is there such a thing as group craps from 11 p.m. until 8 a.m. or will we have to go another day? But
they're just gonna look at us and tell us we have a problem and walk away.
So I mean, it's a pretty it's cool, because we've really this time I think we have all of the educational stuff, but we also have even more social than we ever had before, because we have the Slotpoles, we have the group gambling. It's really, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm really happy about that, because the number one purpose of this event was to have an in-person social event for travel people, travel loyalty people, and casino gambling and casino loyalty people. That was my number one goal this year. And I'll tell you, I mean, probably it takes a rather crazy person to try to put together an in-person event during COVID, and I'm that person. But I think we really need it, and it's a great way to end the year, because we've just not had the in-person events that we've had in the past.
Yeah, and we're definitely missing all of those for sure.
I think you have a screen share that you can put up right now of the main ZorkFest poster. But it's really a cool and a cool weekend. We've tried to make things as approachable as we possibly can for anybody, to come. So depending on if they're not sure about the conference, maybe they want to do some of the social events. We've sort of made it, basically made it so that they could do anything.
So before we get into anything, I do want to let everybody know what we're talking about is the ZorkFest event coming up here December 17th and 18th, being held at the Plaza. So one thing that's really cool about this event, like I said, I've had the privilege of going to both, But me and Michael actually made some really strong connections from these events. And so I definitely wanted to have him on to talk about it and let people know what to expect. So you mentioned a lot of stuff that's going on, Michael, but can you tell us how this all originated, how you got the idea and why and how it started?
Yeah, it's really simply like bringing together people who were into travel loyalty
Mm-hmm.
programs, from the airline programs like American Airlines Advantage and hotel programs like Hilton Honors or Marriott Bonvoy, people who love points, collecting points, traveling for free, getting the best deal, and bringing that together with the casino loyalty people who love things like Caesar's Rewards and M Life and comps. And then also the side of that we both love is the gambling part of it. So because remember, I always have looked at it like, you've got gambling, but then you've got the comp game. So like
Yeah,
the gambling is the gambling, but the comp game is like the gambling or the game within the game.
within the
If you
game.
think
Yeah.
about it, right? Because it really is what we do. It's like, okay, well, if I do this and I play the right games and I get a good rating, I'm going to get, maybe more benefits than I deserve, or it's going to make it worthwhile for me to do
Right.
this. So, I mean, that's sort of what, the way I've always looked at it. And I've always liked to bring those two groups of people together because the travel people would often say, I don't understand this casino comps thing and this casino loyalty stuff. And then the casino people would say, I don't understand like how the Hilton Honors program works or how it
Yeah.
works to get airline elite status. So now we've sort of brought them all together, and it's great for socializing, and it's also great for learning about the different programs and also getting just in general some travel inspiration. Like part of like the goal is it's not like to throw you in a classroom and make you take notes and just learn about all these programs. It's to give you an overview with an idea of what the possibilities are. So we have certain sessions that are just completely inspirational, like Anthony Curtis of Las Vegas Advisor, talking about like the kinds of things that they do at LVA to help people find more value about, visiting Las Vegas. Then we have other sessions where we talk about like the battle of the best redemptions. So
Mhm.
Gilbert of God Save the Points and Dave of Miles Talk are going to talk about like what their favorite award redemptions and travel is going to be. Then we've got Justin doing a session, and this is totally new this time. Just for poker players, like how to increase your edge through casino promotions. So what to do, like he's a big poker player, like how he works all of these different poker promotions and gets more benefits out of it. Because
Nice.
isn't that the thing that we've always learned on the travel side and on the casino side? Are you getting the right amount of comps for your play, for your action, or for what you're doing? And we've talked about that over the years, and that's always been what we're trying to do. I mean, if you look at what we try to teach you in ZorkFest and what we want people to talk about is how to get more out of their points, how to get more out of their comps, because that's the name of the game, and in Vegas there's a lot of things you can do that's quite variable, with regard to getting more comps, and some of that can be like learning about new properties. Some of that can be understanding how the comp system works with average daily theoretical, how Caesar's Rewards works, how M Life works, what tier benefits are, like things like no resort fees, and why one program might be better than another program, and then also just introducing people to those kind of things. So I think there's a lot there, and we have a bunch of sessions that you can mix and match. And we have sessions that talk about the players clubs. We have sessions that talk about different travel loyalty programs. We also have an add-on if you want even more, so you get an additional conference room, which we call TZ Extreme, which talks more about tips and tricks you can do for different programs and goes in depth in certain programs. So there's just a lot there's a lot in that day. And the other, like Jamie's doing a really good session that's called No Status, No Problem, Luxury Accommodations for All. How to stay in luxury accommodations with or without status, like different ways to go about it. And then we have Oliver, who's doing another session, which is really just like more of an inspirational, interesting session about like how Las Vegas learned to make you love losing money, and the different ways that the casinos have operated over the years. And then we have other things on the casino side, like Catherine's going to do a session like, just introductory on video poker, like just introducing people to video poker. Because we've especially found with a lot of the travel people, they've gotten free play or they don't understand like video poker is a great way to get free drinks at the bar top and things like that. So yeah. It's just great, just introducing people. And I think, that's why we have that whole mix and match kind of thing. And then what's really cool is in the middle of all of this, because we want it to be an entertaining day, not just an educational day, we've got the live podcaster potluck event. And that's so we put the podcaster event right in the middle. And I just screen shared that one with you. And I think that's really cool. So basically, don't think you're going to be stuck in a classroom all day. First of all, you can mix and match whatever you want. So if you want to go to 1 or 2 sessions and then talk to people in the hallway, socialize, get a drink, that's fine. But then we have lunch during ZorkFest at noon. We have a buffet Italian lunch at 12 noon. And then after lunch, we have a 1 p.m. podcaster panel. And what we like to call it, it's a live audience podcaster event. So they're going to be able to take questions from the audience. And Lisa is going to be sort of moderating it from the Plaza podcast. And we're going to have Vital Vegas there. We're going to have Tim of Better Life. We're going to have this guy, Julian from Vegas Confessions. And we're also going to have Julia from GeoBreeze Travel. So I'm not exactly sure exactly how that format is going to work. But Tim is doing, it's going to be sort of a panel and questions from the audience and sort of interactive. So I think that's pretty cool.
So I've had the pleasure of going to the first two. The second one being on the Strip and being live stream and the craps tournament, what other aspects will we be seeing coming new to this one?
One of the big things is that we added Slotpoles, which is not one of the things that I'm really into, but I know a lot of people are into. So we added a bunch of Slotpoles this time, which are pretty much so almost sold out. So that's really cool. And those are all run by Matt Bridger. So that's really cool. So we have 4 Slotpoles. So on Friday night, we have a cocktail reception and we have an optional dinner. And then we have 2 Slotpoles on Friday night and 2 Slotpoles on Saturday night, going up in denomination, which is really cool. And so far, the Friday night Slotpoles are unfortunately sold out, but I think there were 2 more spaces in the Saturday night Slotpole and maybe 3 more or 4 more in the 10:30 p.m. So we've sort of integrated that group gambling aspect of it too, which we thought was really cool.
Now, there's a lot of fun that's going to happen, but what would you say to the folks that are on the fence about attending ZorkFest and never been to something like this?
I would say that you will. If you don't regularly go to conferences or things like this, you might feel like, am I going to feel uncomfortable, or will I get enough out of it for what I'm paying to do it? And what I would say to people is, you absolutely will. I mean, part of it is, the ticket includes a cocktail reception on Friday night. The ticket actually includes also a $25 match play for Plaza, because Plaza has been awesome. It also includes a buffet Italian lunch on Saturday, which is a decent lunch, so we've tried to do, some cool stuff like that. We've got the live podcaster event. And then we also actually have a points challenge, which is pretty cool also. So anyone who comes to ZorkFest and gambles at Plaza that weekend you're going to win prizes based on the tier points you earn for the weekend, just doing your regular gambling at Plaza.
Nice.
And the prizes will include group cruises and airfare. So we thought, like, I don't think anyone's ever done this before, where there's like another points challenge. And of course, I'm sure the first thing somebody's thinking is like, yeah, but I'm not a big gambler, so I'm not going to be first, second, or third. Well, of course, so we're going to seed it with different prizes. So obviously there'll be a first place, second place, and third place winner. But then I think I'll do like 15th place or 25th place, so that, you know, not everybody, so that you can still win even if you're not the biggest gambler, right? Which I think it's actually happens in a number of casino tournaments. So I think that there's a lot, you know, there's a lot going on, and it really will bring you more value. Like I like to say, if you learn one tip, if you make a couple friends and understand things a little bit better, it will more than pay for you coming to the event. But the other thing that we've tried to be really kind and gentle about is, you know, if you're still not sure, but you really want to come just to the podcaster event, you can actually just buy tickets to the podcaster event, and then you could decide and upgrade to ZorkFest from that. And that's relatively inexpensive. And then on top of it, if you just wanted to come to, I think you put up the dinner. We have a dinner on Friday night after the cocktail reception. And the dinner includes tax and gratuities, and it's a 3-course dinner. So you can do like French onion soup and filet mignon and dessert, including soft drinks and taxes and gratuities for $115. So you could also just come to that dinner if you wanted to too, you know, just to socialize. So there's a lot of stuff. I don't, you know, I mean, I think one of the best things to do is to look at like the information we have on the ZorkFest website. Okay. So this is a page that's ZorkFestschedule.com. And just to step through this, because I mean, I sometimes am so into this that I forget, you know, so we talk a little bit about, you know, at the top, like an overview on it. And then we remind you that we have a cocktail reception that comes with your ZorkFest ticket. That's at 5:00 on Friday. The main conference is 8:45. Then the podcaster potluck is at 1 p.m. and the Better Life Live is at 2. And what's cool on this page is we've set this up all really cool visual. Like I've had a lot of fun with the designs here. So you can see everything that's happening on Friday and Saturday. The slot polls are on here. And then you can even see when ZorkFest ends here, the most important thing, which literally some people are just coming to ZorkFest, is to hang out at ZorkFest and come to group gambling and group crafts. So we put it out there. So how many people? And then what's cool is underneath here, if you're saying, well, what are these sessions going to be like? There's a description of everything we're going to do. And the time slots are going to be up later this week. But if you want to know what these sessions are that are going to be during the day, they're all here. Everything is here. And I even have, you know, even list in here the podcaster potluck and the Better Life. But these are all the sessions. Just be aware that these sessions that say TZ Extreme, you know, that's an extra add-on. So those are extra. But if you ignore those, your regular ZorkFest ticket includes everything else. And if you don't want to do the add-on, which for most people, unless you really want to go more in depth and you want things, people like sort of a break. People like a break during the day. Let me scroll up right here. If you look at the way this day goes, you know, basically you've got lunch, you've got sessions in the morning, you've got podcaster potluck, you have Better Life Live, and you'll notice here it says 2:00 is Better Life Live and 2:00 are sessions. Everyone gets together for podcaster potluck because one of the things that I thought was really important is that it's a community event. And that's a live audience podcaster event, and everyone should be together for that. But if you also want to do additional sessions, there will be sessions at 2 p.m., or you could stay on for the Better Life Live. So what's sort of cool about ZorkFest is if maybe you want a little bit more of the gambling and the social, you can do another hour and do the Better Life Live. If you really want more educational sessions are also running at 2:00. So there's a little bit of mix and match, you know, on that kind of thing. And the reason why we think it's so important for everyone to be together for podcaster potluck is because it is supposed to be a community event. We have all of these great podcasters and content creators there. And it's just really fun to be able to take questions from the audience and for each of them to be able to talk about different things, moderated by Lisa. And I think it's really cool because it's like it's like having a whole audience on a podcast. And I think that's a really neat thing to do. So that's why we do it that way. And then if you go here to buy tickets, it's all this stuff is on the ticket page. We have actually here, we have a, what the WTF is ZorkFest. I mean, that's, and we talk about everything about ZorkFest there. All that information is there. And then when you go to buy tickets, really simply, start a new order. Here you are. You've got the main ticket here. You've got the in-depth sessions if you wanted. If you only want to do the podcaster event, you can just do the podcaster event. And like I said, we're going to add a ticket. So for people who have like some FOMO at the last minute and say, I just bought the podcaster event and I want to add ZorkFest, we've got the dinner at Oscars. We actually only have 5 remain. The dinner is almost sold out, which is amazing, which is really, really exciting. Fast, yeah. And then you can see the Slotpoles, which is pretty amazing that we filled up these Slotpoles. I mean, this is, and these are all the buy-ins on that. And if you buy a ZorkFest ticket like that, and you go to the next page, you'll notice that the pricing is $249, but
pay attention.
We created a Vegas Confessions code, which is VC88, because I love 8s. Because I play Baccarat. Anything that has 8s in it is good for me. And if we apply that, you're going to get the early bird discount.
Oh, yeah.
So, we call it the late early bird because basically we get it with COVID, with travel plans. There are some people who've just not been able to make a decision. So that's fine. You're still going to be able to get the early bird, but you really are going to have to do this by the 10th because we are pretty much so, at the point where we're going to have to wrap up most of the ticket sales. So you're not going to be penalized, if you decide to do that. So we've tried to be as fair as we possibly could be, on any of that. And just to show you, if you go to the top of the ZorkFest.com, so if you just go to ZorkFest.com, you'll see all of this information about it. Like there's tons of information. All of the posters give you information. There's testimonials. There's lots of good stuff, and I'm so proud of this podcaster event. I actually love the poster. I think the poster is like absolutely amazing. We have to make t-shirts or something eventually, right? I mean, like, look at you, Julian. I mean, I had so much.
The guy with the hat's handsome.
Yeah. I mean, we really try to like do really cool stuff here. So, I mean, I think I really,
that's like a lot of work.
And I'm trying, I think it's cool. So, I mean, really do consider it. I mean, if it's because of your budget, you think you can only come to the podcaster event, just come to the podcaster event. If you think that maybe you're not sure if ZorkFest is for you, but the dinner sounds really great, then come to the dinner. I mean, we're just trying to be as flexible as possible. And I always tell people, if you have other questions, reach out to me. I mean, I think you'll get a lot out of it. Julian's been to both. I mean, he's like, I don't know, you're like a founder. Is that what we make you if we have more of these? Because you've come to each one and you didn't know, and you had no idea what to expect when you came to the first one.
No, well, and that's what's cool about it. And that's what I think is genuine and authentic about all of this is it's not a sale. I don't get paid for this. And I want people to know that they can actually benefit from going to these things and showing up and learning, hey, if you can find out all the little things about finding out your average bet at the table games and how to benefit that to you so you can benefit and stay for free in the future. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a thing. And so as I'm realizing that, hey, this is actually pretty smart and I can benefit from this, especially if I want to go to Vegas more, I really started paying attention. And so that's when I started realizing, hey, other people can benefit from this too if they start paying attention and going to these things. So I wanted to definitely have you on, talk about it, and let people know more about it in detail, some of the special events and some of the things that happen. So on top of all this fun that we're talking about we're going to be having, let's talk about some of the fun that we've had in the past at some of the ZorkFest events, like the first one in Atlantic City. Okay, look at that smile. Look at that smile. So let's talk
I
about
remember
playing
there was a
dice.
little dice challenge with fours.
So
Hard fours, if I remember correctly.
we had some fun playing dice, me and Michael, and we were just having the time of our lives. It was late at night, and he said something to the effect of, hey, if we can hit some hard fours, we're running up the escalator. And long story short, we hit these hard fours, sprinted up the escalator, and that was my introduction to Michael, basically. And that's where our friendship started. And it hasn't dwindled since then because, you know, every time we're in Vegas or we line up dates and we think we're going to meet up with each other, we always get together. And now, Michael, I want to condone you because this has been an honor to show up to these events, but the networking, the cocktail reception is probably my favorite part. All the different people you get to meet and interact with and come in from all over the different place and are from different aspects of social media or podcasters or YouTubers or whoever it may be. Everybody's super down to earth and it's so much fun. So that's the kind of stuff I really want to push on people to tend to, because again, if you're a first timer, my thing is talk to as much people as you can, because you never know who you're going to click with, create friendships with, and down the road, you're going to see these people at every single event. And I've seen these guys at the first one, at the second one, and it goes on from there because it's not just these events that we meet up at. When we end up in Atlantic City or I end up in Vegas and they're like, hey, you're going to be in town, Jay? I'd love to meet up with you. I'm like, that's the honor of doing all of this. So that's why I definitely wanted to tell people, hey, guys, you got to at least check this out. And like Michael showed you guys, you can save some money on it if you're interested in it. There's a lot of stuff going on. And when you see the schedule and you're like, damn, you know, I go to Vegas because, you know, I want to relax. Well, this is one of the ways to learn how to get there more often. Use the airlines to your benefits, use the hotel, casino comms to your benefits, and maximize on that for the long run and do it the right way and take the right approach. So when I started looking into it, I'm like, Kel, we can do something about this if we really start working at this. And so I started putting my thoughts together like, okay, now I haven't paid a room in years. I haven't paid for a room in years, besides Resorts World when it opened. But literally, I haven't paid for a room in years because of this. And that's why I stick to one casino property. Usually it's been Plaza or Alice. And I've used these things in full effect. So I'm forever grateful, which is why I forever want to be a part of these events and help you, you know, grow this thing and bring people in to show them that, hey, you're not just spending money to go to something you're going to learn about. There's the free play, there's the meals, there's the people, there's the fun, there's the craps tournaments. Like this stuff is all genuinely just going to happen in a matter of 2 days. And again, these are people that you, again, will create relationships with in the long run. And you guys are going to create friendships and end up at these events more often than you'd believe. And again, the more new stuff that comes in, it just makes every single event better, which is why I definitely wanted to have you come on, share what it's about, and let people know more about what's going on at ZorkFest. And again, it being at the Plaza, can't get any sweeter for me. That's my baby right there. That's my home.
Well, the other thing is too, that's important. Like there's a lot of stuff that like people hear about, but they're not sure about, you know, like, okay, so I can get this credit card and I get this bonus. Is it really true? And will I really be able to, you know, sign up for this credit card to get this bonus and use these awards? And the answer is yes. But sometimes it's really great to be able to have someone, you know, lead you a little bit on that. So there's a whole bunch of things with maximizing awards, and that's a really important thing. And a lot of people are just nervous about that. Like, you know, is it good to sign up for these credit cards? Will I be able to use these bonuses? And you will be able to. So that's another thing that's really important, that you'll be able to actually ask the questions one-on-one. And we have expert speakers doing that. So that makes a big difference. So if you go to the section maximizing your awards, from credit card intro bonuses and bonus category spend to earning points for dining and shopping, there are ways that you can sign up for certain credit cards. Of course, some of it depends on your credit. And these are questions you can actually say, so is it really true I'll get 100,000 bonus? And could I use that to fly to Vegas? Yes, if you do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, you see the blog posts, you see all of this stuff online, and you're like, is it that simple? Can I do this? Should I do it? Is it applicable to me? You've got, Gilbert of God Save the Points. You've got Michelle of Turning Left for Less. You've got Dave of Miles Talk. And you've got, Jamie, who does all this Lux travel stuff. And you've got all these people who are going, you can ask them and you can ask questions in a smaller environment and find out how to do that stuff and almost, sort of like lead you there. And I think that's really what makes the difference, because it's so different when people tell you like, no, this is cool. And we've learned that with the casino stuff before, consolidating your play at different properties and, how you should think about like how you're going to gamble and what you're going to do. And the Plaza has been great. Has been great with everything and really supportive of the program. So, I mean, that's also wonderful because, people from the Plaza are involved and they're very helpful and like they're doing this points challenge for us, which is really cool. So, I mean, that's something that you regularly can't do. And like I said, it's just a lot going on. And if you're more of a travel person but wants to know a little bit about casinos and gambling, or more of a gambling person who wants to know more about the travel side, it's all sort of there, and we've tried to put a good combination of things. So I think it's pretty cool. And like I said, you should look at the website. You should, if you have questions, I'm so easy to get at TravelZork on all social media. As Julia knows, I'm very responsive to that kind of stuff. And I love to talk about it. And if you're concerned, that's fine. And like I said, if you just want to do something social, consider coming to a podcaster event if you're in, because that's 2 hours of your time. And I think you're going to really enjoy it, especially if you listen to some of those podcasters.
So let me ask you this. What does that approach sound like to a casino and setting up an event like this? And has it been easier working with the Plaza versus, some of the bigger corporations? Because
the Plaza's been great to work with because the Plaza appreciates the fact that we're doing an event, but we're also bringing in people who want to gamble at the Plaza, and they really like that. Most events, when you do it most places, the events is like separate from like the casino marketing. Like events people have nothing to do with casino people, whereas the Plaza, it's a little bit more integrated. So they were really, supportive of us having this event because they know we also really like to gamble. And have fun group gambling, and that's and that's a big and they really like that. And of course, isn't it a great place to be? Plaza has lower limits than a lot of places. So once again, we're getting back to that inclusive nature. We've got a great room rate, that for people to stay at the Plaza, though that room block is closed. But if somebody still needs a room and they reach out to me, I might be able to work it out. But we've got a great room rate for the weekend. We've got a hotel that has great table limits, that still has good table games, so that's quite inclusive. It's very hard to do that stuff on the Strip. So I think that's pretty cool. I also think, for the value, for the bang for your buck, you get a lot at the Plaza, for the room rate and everything. And it's also a very convenient property to have something like this at, because it's easy to run up to your room, there's a place to get coffee in the morning. You got the pizza place. You got it's quite convenient. So I think that's pretty cool too.
So can you talk a little bit about, the aspect of the gamblers, the gambling community getting together with the travel loyalty community and how that all just binds so well? Like, because they're all so much fun. It's so much fun when everybody gets together.
Absolutely. I think it's awesome because I think in general, this is a group that loves to socialize. And I think socializing in a casino atmosphere is just one of the most fun atmospheres to socialize in. Also, like you're in downtown Las Vegas and, drinks are inexpensive at the Plaza if you happen to buy drinks, which you shouldn't buy drinks. But I mean, if you do buy drinks, they're inexpensive.
No judgments.
Yeah, and the gambling is good, and it's a really, it's a great social atmosphere. And I think honestly most people are a little bit intrigued by gambling. I mean, I've had a lot of people
Yeah.
ask about dice, and I
Mhm.
wish, I don't know, maybe sometime in the future they'll just do something that involves talking. I mean, I'm amazed at how many people are into craps. I mean, it's just such a constant, point of conversation. So we love to teach people. But you know what, it's such a great group because no judgments. If you've got questions, there's no stupid questions about travel loyalty. If you
That's it.
don't understand what 100,000 bonus is on a Chase Sapphire card, we're going to teach you what that is. If you don't understand what parlaying a hard eight is, we're going to teach you that. Now we might not have a session on that, but we're
Yeah.
there to, I mean, there's travel stuff that people don't know, that we're happy to explain to you with like credit card signups and how to get the best award stays and when you should use points or when you should pay cash. And it's all there. Like everybody doesn't know everything, they know certain things more, and we love to teach that kind of stuff. And even like when we do group craps, I want people to come and play who've never played craps before. I love teaching people how to play craps,
Yeah.
so it's great fun. Just like some of the travel people love saying like, hey, how I got the best airfare to Las Vegas, or how I signed up for this credit card and used that bonus to get business class airfare to Europe. So it just sort of all comes together, and I really like that.
Let me tell you what's super funny is I asked you about, working with setting up with the plaza and how that all works and, versus strip properties and the bigger corporations. Well, the reason I ask is because I've been going back and forth with the plaza. Now that's my home property. And every time I show up, I always email before I come out, Lisa and Jonathan, hey guys, I'm coming out, would love to, record my slot play and stuff, and always just kind of give them a heads up. So I wanted to see what that interaction was like and how smooth that went for you, because I know they're very attentive and they're on top of stuff, especially Lisa. And it's funny because all the years I've been staying at the plaza, I've never met Lisa in person. And I email her at least once a month in the past year.
Yeah, no, they're super supportive, and I have no reason when we do group craps, as long as like it's just all of us and we do that kind of stuff. Like they're pretty good about like us being able to do social media and videos, as long as
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
is in agreement
Oh,
on
yeah.
that kind of stuff, which is really cool, to be able to do that kind of stuff because we love documenting
Yeah, right.
gambling and travel, and all of that. And also it's such an interesting weekend. Like, like Tim of the Better Life was saying, hey, I'm just there to gamble all weekend, doing the podcaster event, and I'm around. You want to come gamble? We're going to be gambling together. And I think like how many opportunities, it's a lot of us that are together at once. Like there are different times during the year where like one or two people get to be together, and that's
Right.
great. But how many times do we have a bunch of people who are really into this, who are podcasters or other people together, people in the community and people who are also content creators that are together? Like look at Matt Bridger, like isn't going to be cool? And all those slot pulls are going to be videoed. And if you don't know what a slot pull is, don't worry, you can watch one and see what it is,
Yeah.
because it's basically pooled bankroll, for people who don't. I think a lot of your audience knows what it is.
Yeah.
So we try to do a lot of fun, do a lot of fun things and involve people in all that kind of stuff, and I think that's it. There's just a lot going on. But also what we did, we understood that people still sort of need their weekend. So there is a little bit of flexibility. So like Friday night, we have the cocktail reception. If you don't want to come to the dinner afterwards, you could go off on dinner by yourself. You could join us later for the slot pulls. On Saturday, the conference is all day, but you could be done with it and then go and do whatever you want to do on Saturday night. Or you could do whatever you want to do on Saturday night, go to dinner, and then come back and join us for group gambling at 11 o'clock, or do the Slotpoles. Basically, you could do the conference and have your Saturday night free if you wanted to. You could do the cocktail reception on Friday and have your Friday night free. We left Sunday totally free. So you could sort of like, we've made it so that you could totally ZorkFest out, like do everything for the whole week, or you cannot. You can choose not to do that, or you can come and go. So I think that's a pretty cool way to do it. So I don't think it's going to take away from your weekend at all. Like, yeah, it's a lot of social stuff going on, but if you're the kind of person that's like, the lunch and the podcaster event and all of that is just enough for me, and then I need my Saturday night free, that's cool. And maybe I'll come back at 11 o'clock at night and try to group gamble with some of you guys. That's awesome. So you don't, so we're not forcing you to do, to spend hours and hours and hours together with people, because I know different people have different tolerance to that, or they have a different way to do Vegas. So we've been pretty careful about that in the schedule, that you could pretty much do whatever you want, and especially like the dinner is a good example. You can go off to dinner wherever you want on Friday night and off to dinner wherever you want on Saturday night, and you wouldn't be missing, anything that was, specifically planned.
So let me ask you this. How much sleep do you think you're going to be getting this weekend?
On that weekend, I think, I think it's going to be it's going to be not very much sleep at all. So I think that I will be up. I think I will be up all night Saturday until Sunday. So okay. I mean, that's for sure. But Friday night I'll try to get to bed pretty early.
Doubt it. Anyway, next question. What is some of the feedback you get from some of the folks who attend ZorkFest?
I usually the feedback I get from people is that they're really surprised at what a good time they had, and they didn't realize they would get so much out of it. And it's sort of the hard thing to say. It's sort of like, take the risk and come. Like, the risk isn't that great, and you'll see and you'll enjoy it, and you're going to get a lot of value out of it, especially, some of the sessions. Like I said, you don't have to do everything. So it's really, it's good. Like I say, take the risk. I don't think you'll be sorry. And that's what I truly believe, and we've done it before, and there are a lot of people you can speak to who've done it before, and that's what I keep trying to tell people, but of course, I guess maybe I'm not the best salesman in the world, or maybe I don't want to high pressure people to do something because I want them to enjoy it.
Yeah, sales is one thing I could never do either. Totally. That's not me. So let me ask you this. What's the biggest takeaway you get from doing all of this when the event is all done and over and said?
The biggest takeaway I get is feeling that I've done something that helps this travel and gambling community. Because believe me, I don't this event would have to be much larger. That's my dog in the background trying to say hi. I want to see Leo. Leo wants to come to a ZorkFest sometime. He's my super duper rescue dog.
We got to get him to throw dice.
Yeah, he does have to throw dice. But I would say, what I get out of it is I just am so happy bringing these groups of people together and being able to do a really fun, organized social meetup. It is a ridiculous amount of work. That's not a complaint. It's like, I've sort of run the numbers on this one. I think we're a little below a break even. So I don't people who think oh my God, you sell the tickets. Yeah, but everything is so expensive to do. And the Plaza is great. The Plaza's provided some sponsorship, and the pricing at the Plaza is good, but still you have to realize when you do a conference, everything has huge taxes and gratuities and other kinds of things. So it's really a lot, and a lot of risk, but I do it just because it's something I love, and I really believe in this community. And I did it this year because I thought we really needed to get together, and we needed an organized event. And I am really happy that, we're able to pull it off, because we thought we might have to, if not enough people signed up, we would have to turn it into something else, like a meetup, and maybe rejigger it. But this has worked out really pretty well, and we're going to have just about as many people as we had last time, during COVID. Now, of course, we've talked about it more, and, we've all been doing, people know more about Travel Zork over the last couple of years, but still, we launched this event right around Delta variant, which is scary. So I really, I'm really excited about that. And I guess I'm probably most excited for the group gambling. That's actually, I'm excited. I agree with you. The cocktail reception, if you ask me, also podcaster potluck. I love this live podcaster event. I love being able to do that. And we did that last time at ZorkFest, but we did a separate event though Saturday night. And we decided not to do that this time because we wanted people to be able to have their Saturday night free. So that's something we've learned from last time. So now the podcaster event is in the middle of ZorkFest. and it's everybody together, so that you can have your Saturday night free if you want. So like we sort of like we've learned from doing these that we want to be able to let people still have their Vegas experience weekend. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, I'm hoping that, somebody, Marshall's told me he'll be able to do it because he's been talking. And Vegas Duffy, we're about to drop a video on YouTube. Vegas Duffy and I did a dice crawl a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw us talking about that, but we went from Flamingo to Cromwell, and then we talked about our dice sessions afterwards. But I've got some people who we're really into this. Like we're looking to parlay the hard eight at least 3 or 4 times. So.
Nice.
We're really into that.
So besides the actual ZorkFest event, do you have anything else planned on the side that you'll be doing in Vegas? Anything you'll be attending, meals, anything like that?
I barely thought about it yet because
I'm sure.
I'm all focused on ZorkFest. So I basically, it's all about ZorkFest and gambling with people and being social for the weekend and ending my year that way. And then I'll figure it out. Like I'm in before, which is mostly like planning. And I do have a few days after. So I'm sure I might gamble a little bit afterwards, but we'll see what happens.
Now going forward, let's say, more people start attending and it becomes a bigger deal. Would you like to see it in other casinos around the country or mainly in Vegas?
I think something like this, not too large. I'd like it a little bit larger than it is. Like eventually I'd like it to be a couple of hundred people, but I think Vegas is the right place for it, to tell you the truth. I think it has the most draw. I mean, even though I happen to love Atlantic City, I think more people are interested in coming to Vegas. And also, we do have a little bit of the ability with the Plaza and downtown to be able to have a good room rate on the weekend. And that's always the problem with Strip almost every weekend. Unless you have comps, the room rates are crazy on the Strip. And that's also a similar problem in Atlantic City. People who don't know, the Atlantic City rooms are really expensive on the weekend. And one of the reasons why we keep, we're able to get people like this time, we've got a lot of rooms. A lot of people are staying at the Plaza. So it's worked, being able to have a good room rate has really made a difference for people, which makes sense. So that's really pretty awesome. So I'm happy. Not, maybe we'll do it again next year. Maybe we'll do something different and do it the year after. I mean, the other thing I've gotten conscious about, or I think about, is like, it's good to have events, but not too many events. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to overdo it, right? You don't, because then it becomes like, I think, too much for people. So I think that's like right now it's been 2 years. It was 2018. We'll see. Now seems like the right time, and I think especially because of COVID. But we'll see what happens in the future. But that's I don't want to overdo it, basically.
Well, I will say any year it happens, I will be there. And is there anything we forgot to mention throughout all of this ZorkFest chat that I didn't cover that you'd like to mention?
Well, there's one thing I'm really excited about, which I probably shouldn't mention because we were sort of keeping it as a surprise. Now that I've said that, I probably have to mention it. But if you look at the schedule, you'll notice that we moved the cocktail reception a little bit earlier on Friday, and that the cocktail reception is now 5:00 at night. And the reason why we did that is because we're expecting a very special guest at the cocktail reception, which is really our, meet and greet and opening to ZorkFest, and that is Oscar Goodman. Oh, awesome. So we expect to have Oscar Goodman. And if you don't know who Oscar Goodman is, he's the former mayor of Las Vegas. Oscar's Steakhouse is named after him. And he also was a famous mob attorney who did a cameo of himself, I guess, in the movie Casino. So that's really exciting. I mean, it's really, really exciting, and it'll be a really neat. And this is a person that, is so ingrained in the amazingness of Las Vegas, from a historical perspective, from being like the man who's done so much promotion for the city and also so much for downtown, because downtown's changed so much over the last 10 to 15 years. I would like to say that we're pretty confirmed for this, and this is looking like, he's most likely going to be there. It's crazy times right now, and schedules are crazy, but that's a pretty exciting surprise that we are expecting to have at the meet and greet. In addition, Jonathan Jossel will also be there, and Lisa will be there too. So this is another thing which is amazing. And this is a testament to how great the plaza is. And, it's just such a downtown thing. I think the CEO comes and hangs out, and you could talk to him. And, what's so great is it shows you what confidence they have, in their product and their casino. Because, like, obviously, if someone's not happy, they could say, hey, I don't like this. But, they want to hear from their customers. They want to hear from their players. And I have so much respect for that. Like, it's just such a respectable thing that you're out there and you want to hear what your customers are saying and what your players are saying to give, and understand the experience that they're getting. And they're not afraid to get that feedback, and they're not afraid to be out there in front of the customers. And to me, wow, in this day of age, right? I think most CEOs want to hide from their customers, right? Because they're afraid what they might say. But here are people who are so proud of what they're doing, have such a great staff, have such a great casino, 50th anniversary, and and they just want to keep making it better and better. And I think one of the reasons why it keeps getting better and better is because they want that feedback from their customers. They want to understand what people want, and there's single zero roulette too. So we're gonna have to do some roulette also. Don't forget about that. So I think it's really exciting.
So one thing I'm glad you said all of that, because I've been saying it for years here on the podcast about the plaza. So I'm sure people are sick of me saying it, but no, in all seriousness, that's who they are. And that's one thing I've learned about the plaza. Jonathan, Lisa, and the staff down there is just they're people person. And that's one thing that separates them from anybody else. And that's what made me fall in love with the property when I first got there 7 years ago, and haven't really stayed anywhere else since, including the host and all the staff down there. Everybody's really down to earth. So I could imagine, them adding Oscars to the list and having him show up. It just goes to show the support and the love that they have for supporting, the casino, the city he's involved with. I mean, he attends all these events because he just has that respect for the property and Jonathan and, everybody down there. So it says a lot about the plaza, Oscar, and everything that they have going over the years.
Yeah, you're not going to find that in a lot of places. And it's like this old-fashioned kind of amazing customer service, and also amazing connection with your customers. And that's really important, and that's something we hope, to introduce people to downtown, because there will be a lot of people coming who have never been downtown in quite a few years. And like I say to people, you're getting a great deal staying at the plaza, and across the street is this swanky first new casino built in downtown Las Vegas called Circa. If you haven't heard about it, it's right across the street. Not to mention, downtown Las Vegas has a lot of really great dining options and really good budget friendly things. It's the opposite of, hey, it's not as cheap as it was 5 or 6 years ago, but still, it's not expensive like it is on the Strip. And we both know, like, the Strip 10 or 15 years ago, like now the Strip's really expensive. So, this gives people another perspective. And the other thing I would suggest, if you're coming in for ZorkFest, splitting downtown and the Strip's a great way to do it, and actually you could take advantage of the fact of using the room rate and staying at the plaza for the weekend and then going to the Strip midweek. And that's a very inexpensive week right after ZorkFest and right before ZorkFest. So, that's a good strategy, because avoiding those weekends in Vegas, like this weekend is a crazy weekend in Vegas. The average room rate on the Las Vegas Strip is over $500 a night. Because this weekend's like a Raiders weekend, or it might be not this, or it might be last weekend by the time this drops. But this is like December 4th. This weekend is crazy. I think there's like a major concert, there's a rodeo, and there's a Raiders game. So it's absolutely insane. So I'm really excited.
A couple of weeks ago when I went, they had the college football team game, they had the Raiders game, they had a 3-day concert festival going on, they had country music awards, they had so much shit going on, and prices for everything were just through the roof.
it's crazy. It's just crazy. So we've really, I mean, I hope people start to love downtown Las Vegas. I mean, I don't know. I've gone to Vegas a lot over the last year. Part of it was moving back to the United States.
Yeah.
And, I keep getting more and more in love with Las Vegas. I don't know why. I love it so much. And that's the other thing. We've got all the Vegas geek people who just love going to Las Vegas. I mean, and I think it is really, it's just really special. I know not everyone agrees with that, but there's just no other city in the world that's like it.
Most entertaining place in the world. And my thing that always gets me is when somebody says, when I ask them, well, what's your favorite property? And it's a downtown property. Oh, El Cortez. I'm like, really? Like, that's awesome, because everybody just knows the hurrah of the Strip. And you'd be surprised how many people don't make it downtown, that we're always like, hey, downtown's a must visit on your first trip. Go see it. Go check it out. It's totally different than what you're going to expect. And who knows, you might just fall in love with it.
You don't know. And I've really slept around in Vegas at different hotel properties this year, especially because I've been in Vegas a lot, and we've got Zork Travel, so we are selling a lot of Vegas luxury, like the luxury programs for Wynn. We're doing a lot of work with Resorts World, and that's like a side business for Zork, which is travelzorktravel.com. And I've been trying to sleep at a lot of different properties, and I recently stayed at the Dirty Bird 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
in a suite, and it was pretty okay. I mean, so I've really, I don't know. There's just something about, because it's sort of funny. People are like, but don't you love Wynn? I'm like, do you know how many times I've been to Vegas this year? Yeah. I stayed at Wynn every single time. Wouldn't that be really boring? And, quite honestly, I'm there sometimes. Like, I just did an article on Zork about the new Wynn rooms. So that was the last trip I was there. And I've been doing a bunch of trips, and a lot of it is like for the travel agency business or for content for Zork. Mm-hmm. I can't be gambling like serious, like all those trips. And you don't get comp rooms at Wynn, like consistently, unless you're going to gamble all the time. Right. So I can't do that. Whereas Caesars is much easier to deal with on some of that. So I've been fine. I mean, I've stayed at Planet Hollywood. Flamingo. I haven't. It's funny. I haven't. I was in a Go Suite, and I don't think I've been in a Go Suite since they came out like 15 years ago. I've stayed at Paris. I've stayed at Planet Hollywood. I've stayed at Wynn a couple of times. I've been everywhere. It's been really, and I'm probably missing some other places, but it's cool. I still want to stay at Resorts World, but I've spent a lot of time at Resorts World, so I understand it. Yeah. And it's interesting. It's really interesting. But you know what? I love Vegas so much, and I love seeing those properties. And I love Wynn and the posh properties, but I also love the other elements of the other properties. So I don't care. I stayed at Mirage. I went to a tournament. I loved staying at Mirage. I thought that was great. And I geek out on all that because I was looking back at historical stuff of like when the Mirage opened. And did you know, which is so interesting? So the Mirage opened, it wasn't 1990. I think it was 1989. When the Mirage opened, it was the largest hotel in the world. Wow. Doesn't that blow your mind when the Mirage opened? Wow. Like how much has changed in, it's not that long ago, but it's just like, wow, like the Mirage was the largest hotel in the world. And now it's like, you don't even think the Mirage is very large. So anyway, right. I love it. I'm probably rambling, but I love this stuff so much. Contact me if you have questions about ZorkFest. If you want to book travel anywhere in the world, Zork Travel, we're here for you. We love doing luxury hotel stuff. If you have questions, ask me, ask Julian. Use the VC88 code to get the early bird discount for ZorkFest, and come and join us, because it's going to be a great weekend.
Michael, this has been fun. I appreciate you coming on to cover ZorkFest. Again, thank you for the invites every single time it happens. I look forward to doing it, in any promotion or any way I can advertise or tell people and spread the word. I'm all game, man, and all ears. So again, if you need help, I'll be there early that week. Let's get in touch. Let's have dinner. I look forward to seeing you this upcoming trip, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. And thanks for having me on.
We'll catch you in the next one, buddy. Cheers. How awesome is that, guys? Guys, do me a huge favor by giving this video a thumbs up. Leave us a comment on the bottom and thank Michael for coming on the podcast and helping us, learn more about ZorkFest and what you folks can expect, especially if you're a first timer. I love this guy. He's one of my good friends, and I love linking up with him whenever I can. Again, until the next video, guys, thank you so much for watching. I got to give a huge shout out to all of our Patreon members and supporters of the podcast here. Thank you, folks. You folks are awesome. If you're new around here, do me a favor. Hit that red button. It doesn't cost you anything, and I promise you, you're going to find some really enjoyable content on this YouTube channel. So with that being said, I'm out of here. Make sure you're following us on social media, and until the next video, cheers.